Tell your grandma to say hello. It's the Kenny and Cairo Variety Show.
And welcome back to the Kenny and Cairo Variety Show. Today we are back with the deck tier list. Today we're going to be talking about we have an emergency. DivaHero with, of course, Cairo, famed for the Kenny and Cairo Variety Show, also known as ATrueHero, one of the premier DivaHero players, although some of his fans and haters alike are a little upset at the lack of DivaHero they've seen from our ATrueHero. But we're going to be talking about DivaHero today, and we're going to be tiering the individual cards in DivaHero. We're going to be talking with, of course, ATrueHero himself.
I mean, that was a fantastic introduction. I mean, I couldn't ask for more. But I have to get this out the way, all right? So everyone knows me for playing DivaHero, and I have several tops with DivaHero, and I'm thankful for that, right? But one thing that really grinds my gears, like Peter Griffin says, is if I meet someone and they're just like, hey, you're the DivaHero guy. And it's like, I'm not just the DivaHero guy. I'm also the guy who got like, third place with Black Wings, like third place with Value Turbo. Like I've topped with more decks than just DivaHero. I'm more than just the DivaHero guy, all right? But whatever, I digress.
He digresses.
You know?
He digresses. Yeah, that's
right. So let's talk about DivaHero.
Real quick, I want to say that's something Frazier really wanted to, for people who, everybody knows this story, but way back in 2010 when Frazier topped with the YCS Atlanta with Gravekeepers, after that, everybody expected him to keep playing Gravekeepers because at that time, people were known for like being their deck. People were known to having a deck they're identified with. So for a little bit, people tried to say he's the Gravekeeper guy, but immediately he went on to play a different deck every single tournament he entered, almost, just because he didn't want. Yeah, he didn't want anybody to be like, "Oh, you're the Gravekeeper guy."
Yeah, and like that's how I feel. I hate being called the DivaHero guy, and like I don't mind if someone like appreciates what I've done for DivaHero, but if they don't know about the other tops I've done too, I think I'm one of like 5 people in the entire world who've topped 3 different Time Wizard events with 3 different decks. There has to be like 5 less people. It's just like it's not just DivaHero.
It's a nice accolade. Anyway, I think it's because your name, ATrueHero, and you came out the box with the DivaHero deck. I think that is. I think it all comes together. They want you when people have an emergency. Speaking of, they wanna talk to you. They want you to show up.
Then let me get my personal gripes out the way and let's start this tier list. So emergency call. Honestly, this is the thing. Stratos, in most cases, is DivaHero's best normal summon. It's between Stratos and Diva, right? However, people have this delusion that if you summon Stratos turn 1, you're going to win. And that's not necessarily the case.
It's not Whirlwind Shura.
Yeah, it's not Whirlwind Shura. It is a very, very good normal summon because the thing that both Stratos and Diva does is Stratos is a hero that gets a hero, and Diva is a water that gets a water. So they make your Miracle Fusion live, right? Which is the namesake of your deck, Absolute Zero DivaHero. However, once again, though you go turn 1 Stratos, it's not a guarantee that you're going to win. So playing a brick just to open up first turn Stratos, in my opinion, is not worth it. Because what happens after you've already summoned that Stratos and you draw that E-Call? Then it's like you have to run more Garnets like Alias or Ocean. And those cards are not very good. Alias, in regular DivaHero, he's just a beater. That's all he is. He's a 1900 vanilla. And like Ocean has an effect, but it's like it's quite difficult to resolve Ocean's effect. So, I mean, let's talk about, that's exactly where I would place them in DivaHero, actually.
You would place both of these guys in F.
Yeah, D or F, because like they don't do anything for the deck other than provide a name. And it's like Stratos is a better name. Like Alias can beat over some things, but like you shouldn't have trouble beating over monsters because once again, when you normal summon Diva, that can be a Catastor or it can be an Android. So it's like you're playing it for the name, you're playing it to beat over thing. Alias is a terrible normal summon. You're normal summoning a vanilla monster. And this is another thing. I know I'm going off on tangents.
This is what people want. Because here's the thing. We didn't do the side deck this time. We didn't include side deck cards. This is just the main build of DivaHero, and we included main deck DivaHero cards that are seen across various DivaHero decks. So, for example, Alias is not seen in every DivaHero deck, but he is in some. Same with Ocean. Same with Snowman Eater, which we have down here somewhere. Gravekeeper Spy. The Spy package with Spy and Descendant. That is not in every DivaHero deck. It is in some lists, though. So we included the main deck cards of DivaHero. We're just going to ignore the side deck cards for now because we're talking about the main identity of the deck. So it's good to bring these up. It's good to talk about these guys because if some people are building DivaHero, they want to play DivaHero, and they say, oh, there's a tier list that goes over all of the cards in DivaHero with one of the best DivaHero players talking about it. This is something that they want to hear and talk about. If you're building your list and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should run Alias and I can do E-Call, blah, 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 and then they hear you saying he's an F-tier card in DivaHero, then maybe they'll go, maybe I won't run Alias.
I like how you added maybe, because there are so many players who don't listen to wisdom. It's even in the DivaHero Discord, they talk about some silly things, and then, I'll say my opinion, or some other top players will say their opinion, and then they'll just carry on with what they think.
I'll play devil's advocate. I think that it's true. Sometimes people just need to listen to wisdom. However, sometimes just because someone's a top player doesn't mean they're right. And sometimes you got to think outside the box and go to where other people have not traveled before. But that said,
I do agree.
Alias and Ocean in DivaHero, we're saying, is trash F tier. Because in a different deck like Frog Hero, I think maybe Frazier or somebody would put Ocean a bit higher than F tier. Maybe. I don't know.
Ocean is amazing in Frogs because Ocean's purpose in Frogs is just to pitch it with Swamp Frog. And even though that sounds like quite limited, it's very, 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 very good. Because Ocean's both a hero and a water. It allows you to special summon. And then if you open up, like, for example, Stratos Swamp, that's such a good opening. Yeah. Now, we're not here to talk about hero frogs.
But that's what's cool. Just to highlight the point of this video is a tier list of the cards within their deck. So Ocean may be an F tier in DivaHero, but he may be a higher tier in Frog Hero. This isn't a tier list of the cards individually in a vacuum. This is how they function and how they achieve the goal of an individual deck. So anyway, here in DivaHero, we have Alias and Ocean, and we're putting them in F tier for now. Maybe they'll go up to D if we decide some other things are worse, but for now they're in F tier. And we were talking about them in the context of E-Call.
Right. The last thing I'll say about Alias, and then we can sort E emergency call. If you're playing Alias, you're probably not even playing DivaHero. This is another thing that grinds my gears, is when people play DivaHero Beat, and then they confuse that for DivaHero. They're two different decks, okay? So for all of those who are maybe new to the game, or maybe you just don't know the difference, DivaHero Beat, they're playing cards like Triple Alias, Gemini Sparks, some amount of degenerate floodgate traps such as Skill Drain in some cases, or Hero Blast. This is DivaHero Beat.
I think once you get into once Gemini Spark is in the deck, we're in Hero Beat territory.
And Honest as well, right? But DivaHero is more like, it plays more of the dark monsters. And I've heard some people call it Dark DivaHero Beat. I hate that name. Why are you calling it Dark DivaHero Beat? It's not Dark DivaHero Beat. Stop making up names.
All right, let's rein them in. Let's move. Let's get E-Call. Where are we putting E-Call? So E-Call is traditionally a great card. Everybody loves E-Call. However, in DivaHero, there's only one target, I believe, that being Stratos, unless you play some F-tier cards like Alias and Ocean.
That's right. So for that, I mean, honestly, when it works, it works. But I'll say this, right? And then I'll really give the final verdict on emergency call. A card that I think is underexplored, that has not seen any play in Edison format, that I do think could potentially be good in DivaHero and other decks as well, is the Warrior Returning Alive. And for those of you who don't know what that card does, it's simple. You can add a Warrior. I think it might have to be level 4 or lower, but you add a Warrior from your graveyard to your hand. So this is good because DivaHero plays a fair amount of Warriors, and other decks too, like even Vayu Turbo, right? So they have Armageddonite, Grepher, and DivaHero also has those same targets, Armageddonite and Grepher. So in Stratos as well. So after you use your Stratos, if it doesn't get banished with Bottomless Prison or Miracle Fusion, and it's somehow still in your graveyard, you can Warrior Returning Alive it back. Yeah. And maybe there's some even niche combos that you can do where you could go Future Fusion, send Stratos, send a Water, and then go Warrior Returning Alive, get the Stratos back from your graveyard. So it's like, I think that the Warrior Returning Alive is a card that has not yet seen play, and I would play Warrior Returning Alive, me personally, before I play E Emergency Call. And with that said, the final verdict on E Emergency Call, I'm going to give it a C.
C? All right. We'll have it in C. All right. Next, let's jump into, fuck it. Let's talk about Stratos. Let's get Stratos in here.
S. There we go.
We're talking about the heroes. We have E-Call. Yeah. Stratos is, we might as well jump right in the Stratos. S for Stratos.
S for Stratos. I mean, like, first of all, he's a hero that gets a hero. So it helps generate, the deck's synergy, right? You don't have to worry about being stopped by cards like DD Crow as often, because usually, double hero, they would likely need double Crow depending on the situation. And Stratos is just 1800, good baseline attack, and its effect is broken. Even though there are many effects in Edison format which search out monsters of their archetype, the hero archetype is one of the most supported archetypes even now in current modern format. It's just like he can search such a variety of good cards, and his second effect to destroy back rows, it destroys them without targeting. So it's like this even plays around Starlight Road, because we don't know how many cards are going to be destroyed, so you can't Starlight Road Stratos' effect. Like Stratos, it's just
Stratos
he's
is crazy.
Yeah, he's X tier for sure.
Small bit of Yu-Gi-Oh trivia. Something that's crazy is that's his first effect. His second effect is Search a Hero monster. I was just talking about this the other day. It is insane to me that Search a Hero is his second effect.
Right.
That should be his first. I don't know what they were thinking when they printed that. They should have flipped that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
true.
Yeah, I don't think anybody disagrees Stratos is S tier. I'd say he's the primary reason most hero engines work. Without Stratos, I think people would still try to run a lot of these hero engines. However, I don't think they'd be nearly as successful, and we would just be fully bird dominated, and there'd be nothing we could do.
And once again, that's why people are playing C tier level cards, because they're trying to get this S level card,
True.
But as I've already explained before, though you summon Stratos, as broken as he is, it's not Whirlwind Shore, like you said, right? It's not a guarantee that you're going to win the game. It's an excellent normal summoning, but DivaHero already has this problem with consistency, and I think adding more garnets and bricks to your deck is not going to help you in the long run. So that's Stratos.
Okay, well, speaking of consistency, I'm going to bring up a small package of cards. Now, I'm not going to grab all the Destiny heroes here, but I want to talk about, because this is something that's not commonly seen. Some people do it to try to increase consistency. Some people say it's not consistent at all. We're going to talk about like Diamond Dude with Destiny Draw, like Destiny Hero Defender. Am I missing someone? But yeah, like everybody loves Destiny Heroes. Everybody loves D-Draw. This is sometimes played. What's your thoughts on this, including Diamond Dude, Defender, Destiny Draw, etc.?
Almost every variation of DivaHero I've played and topped with. I've topped with a build with D-Draw. I topped with a build playing Skill Drain and Defender. I've topped with a build playing Diamond Dude. Like almost literally any variation you can think of, like I've topped with it, with the exception of Spy. Because around the time when Televisual came out with the Spy package, and then it was popularized through ShamWow actually. But anyway, around that time, I kind of like stopped playing DivaHero as much. So with the exception of the Spy build, every other version, like if you search ATrueHero, DivaHero, like there's some top 8 deck list that I've played. And this is the thing. I love D-Draw. I love Diamond Dude. I love Defender. I love I love heroes. And I guess it goes back to my namesake, ATrueHero. I think they're all really, really, really great cards. But in terms of how good they are in DivaHero and how effective they are in the meta, the problem with D-Draw is the same problem that you have with E-Emergency Call. It's like it's an amazing card, but like you have to pay more bricks to support it. Sadly, most of the Destiny heroes are cards you don't want to draw. Like even Malicious, you really don't want to draw Malicious, and Malicious is the best Destiny hero.
Yeah.
Like you don't really want to draw like Diamond Dude unless you're playing Diamond Dude Turbo, and like he's okay on a normal summon, but like you kind of got to get lucky. DivaHero does play like quite a high amount of spells, So it's like you can hit things like, Miracle Fusion, Heavy Storm, Mind Control, like Allure, or D-Draw itself. So it's like when Diamond Dude goes off, it's great. But what about those times when you normal summon it and then you hit like a trap? Or you normal summon it and you hit like a monster? It's terrible. And then like another thing, this is just like a small ruling that you should know if you play Diamond Dude. If you Diamond Dude and you hit Gold Sark, you can banish the card for Sark's effect, but you can't add it to your hand because you never activated Gold Sark. You activated Diamond Dude's effect, right? So in these cases, this can be used like you can banish a card, bring it back for return, or just banish a card out of your deck that you're not going to use for that duel because like if you're low on life points, you can like banish Gores because like you'll never resolve that guy, right? So it's like there are niche situations where you can use that effect, and when it works, it's great. But most of the time, it's not going to work. So I'm going to just rapid fire tier these. D-Draw, it's also in C. Diamond Dude, C. Defender. Now, Defender, if you're playing the skill drain version, Defender, that guy is good. Skill drain Defender, I'm telling you.
Do you know how hard that guy is good?
Bro, that guy, listen, my phrase that like, I used to say all the time, Defender, defend my life points. Like that boy Defender, bro. And honestly, you don't even need to play the skill drain version to utilize Defender because you can just set Defender, they attack into it, they're gonna take a lot of damage because they're gonna be like, why did this guy have a defense of 27? And then you can just convert it. How do you convert it? Sack it for Caius, summon Diva, Synchro. Like Defender is that boy. Like Defender is that boy. Anyway, I actually have a lot of high respect for Defender. He's not A tier, but he's B. Defender, I'm putting that.
Look at him holding strong. Defending your life. Look at him.
Bro.
Destiny hero.
I guarantee you, if you're struggling on like heroes and you're not sure which hero to play, Defender, you can't go wrong with him. And
so you're adding Defender. You're adding Defender before you're adding Alias or Ocean into Destiny Hero, into DivaHero. If you're like, trying to figure out your 40 or 41 cards, you're going to add Defender.
Yes.
You're adding him before E-Call. Yeah, and you're adding him even if you don't have skill drain, you might be at it. So Defender is definitely a consideration when you're putting together your list for the weekend. Maybe Defender this weekend. Maybe he does something for me.
I'm telling you, man, Defender is that boy. Yeah, just make sure that you convert him because if you keep him face up in defense position, your opponent will start drawing extra cards, and then like that's not good. That's a no-no.
That's no
bueno. If you play Defender properly, then he's really, and even like Vanity's Fiend, he's an out to Vanity's Fiend because like he has a defense of 27, and then next turn you can just tribute him off for Caius, get rid of the Vanity's Fiend. Defender, I'm telling you, Defender's good. All right, anyway, on to Malicious. This is the thing.
Yeah, Malicious definitely deserves his own conversation,
He definitely love-hate, man, because Malicious is like, you don't want to draw two, and sometimes you don't even want to draw one. And like, I know that might sound weird, but think about it. DivaHero's best turn one play is Future Fusion, send Malicious, send a Water, banish Molly for Molly, summon a Tuner, make Stardust, set a back row. That is DivaHero's best turn one play. You cannot do that if you open up Malicious in your hand, right? Yep. I mean, of course, if you have Armageddonite, you can send Plague and then stack the Molly and then, still get it off. But in most cases, right, you can't do that if you have Malicious in your hand. So it's like you don't want one, and you definitely don't want two, because if you draw two, that's going to be really hard to...
You're turbo fucked.
It's going to be really hard to play out of unless you have Dark Grepher. So it's just like... But at the same time, having a Malicious in the grave is so useful because you can make a level 8 Synchro with him. You can sack him for Caius. Like, Malicious is really, really... And sometimes you can even just start poking for 800 depending on the game state, right? But the point is, Malicious is so good. There's a reason why I think out of every card in Yu-Gi-Oh! History, and if someone is like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fanatic and they can fact check me on this, please do. I think Malicious has spent the longest time on the semi-limited list more than any other card in Yu-Gi-Oh!
That might be true, because when he's at 3, like nothing good happens. He's not allowed to be at 3. At 1, he's not a card. 1 is banning him, and I don't know. Has he ever been banned? I don't think he's ever been banned.
I don't think he's
But
ever been banned.
yeah, he might be the longest semi-limited card in the history of the game. It's possible.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, now in modern format's crazy. He's at 3, and like they have like Denier, Destiny Hero Denier, which basically makes Malicious at infinite. But like modern Yu-Gi-Oh so bad.
We're not talking about that. That's crazy.
But anyway, Malicious, he is a crucial part of the deck, like a core part of the deck. But I have seen some lists try to play like DivaHero without him. It's like, because he's a Garnet, sometimes I just can't give him S. Like, I just can't. And I'm not even trying to be a hater. Yeah, I think A is like right where he belongs. And it's just because like if you draw double Stratos, if that was a thing, you would be happy. If you drew double Dark Arm, you'd be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you draw double Malicious, when are you happy about that?
No, you're not happy about that.
Like most of the S tier cards are going to be limited, right? Because they're that broken. But like Malicious, he's the best Destiny hero best hero monster in the deck for sure. But like the highest you can give it is A. I mean, best hero monster excluding Stratos.
Yeah, he's super powerful. His effect is insane. He's completely broken, and it's, he's balanced in the way that if you draw him, you're mad. If you draw him, you're mad. And the only way you can really fix drawing him is, I mean, there's a couple ways, like you said, there's Plague, but I think we can use this as a quick chance to talk about some trap cards, unless, like Raigeki Break and Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. These are two cards that I think are really good. You see them in a lot of decks. Sometimes you see both, sometimes you see one. And it's a card that helps work with Malicious. What do you want to say about these two?
So if you've been a ATrueHero fan for a long time, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of discard traps. However, that's my personal preference. In terms of how they are in DivaHero, they're really, really good. Because both discard traps out the problematic cards that DivaHero suffers against, which are Fossil Dyna, Vanity's Fiend, Royal Oppression. And whether you have Wing Blast or Raigeki Break, it deals with all three of those. Plus, having a Stardust behind either one of those two traps is really, really difficult to out. So, I mean, the trap cards are amazing. Now, the reason why I don't like it so much is because, like, one, DivaHero can draw some, like, pretty weird hands. And, like, going 2 for 1 isn't good. And, like, it sounds cute when you say, oh, I'm going to discard Malicious, or I'm going to discard Plague, or I'm going to discard Necro. But, like, what happens, like, when you have to discard a real card?
Yeah.
Then it's not as good. But that aside, they're amazing cards, and I think you put them right where they belong. A.
Oh, shit.
A for both.
A for both. I think some
both.
people might be surprised you put them so high.
Now, my personal preference between the two, they're both A, they're both in the same tier, but my personal preference between the two is Raigeki Break. Because, like, you just want to get rid of the problem. For example, if your opponent summons Caius, you don't want to Wing Blast a Caius. If your opponent goes Whirlwind Shora, you don't want to Wing Blast the Whirlwind. You know what I mean? It's just like Raigeki Break, it just solves the problem. You don't want to return the Vanity's Fiend or the Fossil Dyna back to the deck, and then like they summon it again, right?
Yeah,
so it's like I prefer Raigeki Break because it just destroys it. But like Wing Blast can have its advantage too, because Wing Blast is stopping every synchro with the exception of Thought Ruler. But then you could also argue that Raigeki Break stops every synchro with the exception of Stardust and Thought Ruler, right? So
Wing Blast is the best part about Wing Blast, and what gives it an edge over Raigeki Break is when you have somebody redrawing a fucking trap for 3 turns in a row. Like when you start Wing Blasting their trap that they just can't activate, that's the greatest use of Wing Blast.
right.
Because you just win the game. You take turns away from them. It makes it brutal. But in other situations, like you said, if they have something like Caius, you just want to like be rid of the Caius and move on with your day. You don't want to give them that card back, and you would have rather have Raigeki Breaked it. But yeah, so we have Raigeki Break, Wing Blast, both in A tier.
I think you have a good story to tell the viewers about Rise of Wing Blast.
Oh, the very first time me and Cairo ever dueled, we dueled at just some. Well, it wasn't a local. It was at a local, but the tournament I think was like a PS3 tournament or something, right? It was a bigger tournament. It wasn't a normal weekend local. Like it was a big tournament. I remember the place was packed. A bunch of people were there. I think it was a PS3 tournament was the prize. Anyway, this is my first time really like meeting and talking to Cairo, I play him in, I don't remember what round it was, but I play him in some round. And I don't remember game 1 or game 2. I was playing Monarchs, and I'd like Ryza Wing Blast looped him. Like he got Ryza, then Wing Blast, and then like Ryza or whatever. And I looped him a couple times and like just killed him or whatever. Anyway, next game, my opening hand in order was Ryza, Wing Blast, Ryza, Wing Blast, draw for turn, Ryza. like it was. I drew 6 cards. It was Ryza, Wing Blast, Ryza, Wing Blast, Ryza, Wing Blast. Like that was, and they were in order. And you know, bad luck that day. I guess I don't know. It was bad. It was a bad day for me, and I lost that game.
Okay, so let's move on to the next. How about we start talking about Allure? We've already talked about D-Draw. It's a draw card. Let's talk about Allure. Allure. Darkness. Now, this is the thing. Actually, even though Allure is a broken card, DivaHero doesn't have that many darks. And that's one of the reasons why Dark Arm is always so live. Because it's like DivaHero has just enough darks. Now, granted, if you're playing the Spy package, you have a little bit more darks because you have triple Spy, and I believe Descendant is also a dark. I don't think he's an Earth. But yeah, so that's 4 more additional darks. But traditional DivaHero builds, a lot of them have cut down on Caius. Some of them play triple Caius. More recently, they're starting to play 1 to 2 Caiuses. So it's like you don't have as many darks as you would think, right? You have Grepher, Armageddonite, etc., right? What you see on the screen before you. But like, there's not that many darks. Nevertheless, still S tier because Stratos. I mean, Stratos is what makes it S tier. Summon Stratos and there's your dark right there. Summon Stratos, get Prodigy, right? And it's just all the more reason why, I mean, Stratos is up there in S because he just makes the deck flow so well. So Allure, S tier, but just keep in mind, like, whereas some decks can get away with a blind Allure when they're in a pinch, like Black Wings or Value Turbo, if you do that in DivaHero, there's a very, very, very high chance that you're going to discard your hand. So just keep that in mind.
Hey, maybe, right? Hold on. Let me cook. Maybe, right? Maybe you have a fucked up hand. You have like Malicious in your hand and like some other heroes. You have nothing to do. And you have Miracle Fusion in your hand. You set Miracle Fusion, play blind Allure. Maybe I guess you have Malicious in your hand, then that's not the point because you can just banish Malicious. All right, ignore Malicious. But let's say you have a fucked up hand. You have some other heroes in your hand. You set fucking Miracle Fusion. You blind Allure. You don't get a dark. You discard them. Flip the Miracle Fusion. Bring out Absolute Zero. Hey, maybe.
Hey, there you go, right? Yeah, I mean, room. Like, the only heroes that aren't dark, aside from Stratos, are the F tier heroes. So yeah, if you're playing those F tier heroes, and you can do an
F tier play, baby. You can do an F tier play.
There you go.
I got you.
Right? I got both you. Alias and Ocean. There's your hero and your water. So now your Miracle Fusion's live.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just mentioned a card talking about Stratos, Allure, Infernal Prodigy.
Yes. Actually, now this is a thing. Prodigy S tier. And let me tell you why Prodigy is S tier. And I don't understand why people are cutting down on Prodigy. Because DivaHero is a very special summon heavy deck. But if you actually pay close attention to how the deck is made, you can special summon the heroes, but you can't special summon the waters. What do I mean? Like DivaHero, when you summon Deep Sea Diva, that counts as a normal summon. And yes, you're special summoning a water out your deck, but you had to use your normal summon to get that special summon. Prodigy can just be summoned for free. And the reason why that's so important is because when you're considering making plays for summoning Absolute Zero, you always have to bear in mind that your water is going to eat your normal summon every single time, unless you're playing Treeborn Frog. Treeborn Frog is the only water that can like inherently special summon itself. But these days, people have forgotten about Treeborn Frog. Anyway, he's forgotten about most times, right? Most DivaHero lists, they only play 4 waters. Triple Diva and 1 Gilman. That's it. Those are the only 4 waters that they play. And like they can get away with it, get away with it because once you summon Absolute Zero, he is himself both a hero and a water, so you can continuously activate your other Miracle Fusions. Anyway, Prodigy is S tier not only because he summons himself, but also Prodigy in the Caius is what makes DivaHero a good going second deck. DivaHero is so good because whether you go first or go second, you have plays. If you go first, you can set up with Stratos. If you go second, you can set up with Caius. And Prodigy also allows you to go into Colossal Armory Arm, which is just a cheese victory that DivaHero randomly can just pull off. You cannot make Colossal Armory Arm without the use of Prodigy in DivaHero, right? So because it allows you to play first or second, it's a target for a lore, it summons itself, it pairs with Caius, you can go Colossal Armory Arm. Like Prodigy has so many good uses. And I can't believe that some players are trying to cut it down to one. And just the ands keep coming, right? Malicious, as we said earlier, can be like a little bit of a brick in your hand. Going special summoning Prodigy and sacking for Malicious is not a terrible play. Is not a terrible play. Because once that Malicious is on the field or in the graveyard, it's useful. You get utility out of it.
You like him when he's not in your hand. Just got to get him out of your fucking hand. Just get the fuck out of my hand. Once he's out of your hand, he's got shit he can do. He can start. You can put him in the kitchen.
Yes, you know. So it's just like, and then you get to draw. So it's like, I think the Prodigy is S tier for sure.
Oh, that's actually Summon the fact that Tribute for Malicious over Prodigy lets you draw is so good because now you got Malicious in the field. You can do you can start doing your other plays. You can synchro them or whatever the fuck you're going to end up doing with them. And you draw a card off Prodigy, so, yeah.
Now, actually, I have been considering, but I haven't gotten around to doing it. Like, in DivaHero, main decking, instead of, like, triple Caius, double Caius and one Malicious Edge for the reason that we just stated. Because, one, Malicious Edge is 26, and he's a hero. His effect is not bad. DivaHero doesn't have a way to do piercing because there's not enough space in the extra deck to make Uquasis, Flame Bell Uquasis. And like, you get the draw if you sacrifice Prodigy for Malicious Edge. And even in Hero Frogs, they also play Malicious Edge too. Yes, and he's searchable. He's searchable with Stratos. Yep. So I think like if a list were to brew like a tech Malicious Edge, it would not be terrible. I don't think it would be terrible at all. Like Malicious Edge is another card that's better than people give it credit for.
He's currently not in our amalgamation we have here, but let's keep a track. We have Warrior returning alive as a potential tech you guys can think about for DivaHero in the future. And we also have Malicious Edge we can potentially try for DivaHero. And they may both be better than playing Alias and Ocean in this deck. So
100%, I would play. You know, another consideration, we're talking about cards. Listen, it's almost like this person has so much knowledge about DivaHero. And anyway, another consideration for playing a card in DivaHero is Mobius, which is not here.
Okay? Ooh, I love Mobius.
First of all, he's a water, right? And his effect is not terrible. And he's the only Monarch that, I mean, doesn't get hit by pulling the rug because you can just summon him. Now, granted, that's a very niche situation because if you're summoning Mobius, you likely want to resolve his effect. But like his Mobius's only problem is bottomless, right? But if you have a read that like, you know, the bottomless is in the middle slot, you can just target two other cards, right? But the other problem with Mobius is like, and this is what, you know, can make him good or bad, is people are not going to set many back rows until Heavy Storm is used. But once Heavy Storm is used, they're going to start thinking, oh, there's no card that can clear a vast majority of my back rows. And at that point, if you summon Mobius, you can potentially take out 2 to 3 back rows, right? Bottomless along with 2 others. So, like Mobius, not terrible. And if you banish him with Miracle Fusion, imagine activating Return and bringing back a 2400 guy.
Yeah, it's Mobius. Broken. I think Mobius is good. I think with Edison format as it evolves over time, I could see a world. I don't think Mobius will ever be a DivaHero staple. He'll never be in every build of the deck. I just don't think he quite does what you need him to do for that. However, I can see a world where you're preparing for the weekend, and this is the thing. A lot of times, what is good in your main deck is what we're doing for that weekend, what the vibe in the room and the community is at that time. I can see a world where you tech Mobius in for the weekend, and he is one of the stars of your deck, and he helps you win that weekend. But then if you try to play him next weekend, you're going to get shitted on. I could see Mobius living in a world like that where he'll never be a staple, but maybe every now and then if he gets teched in, he can win the day.
Yeah, like, so, you know, Try out some of those cards. But anyway, yeah, Prodigy S, Allure S. Let's move on. We got a lot of cards to cover.
Let's switch it up. Let's go to another version of DivaHero. So let's talk about the Spy and the Descendant.
Okay, so this is the thing. I have never played the Spy build, and because of that, I don't have much knowledge about them. But I'll say what I think about them in theory. Honestly, like, the purpose of setting Spy is to be a big body, and DivaHero's problems, one of the problems that they had in the past was a lack of defense. It's like Falco from Melee, all gas, glass cannon, but like no defense. Like you clip his wings and he's dead. And you're just like, but Fox can do this, but no. Anyway. But yeah, so it's just like DivaHero is like a glass cannon type of deck where it's like it's really high on the offensive scale, but really, really weak on the defensive scale. And Spy fixes that. Not only does it fix that, but also if you go like next turn, Diva with a Spy, double Spy, you can make Tempest Magician because that's a spellcaster, and Tempest Magician can randomly set up for OTKs. You can make Brionic, which also is one of the best level 6s in the format. It's also a water as well.
It's one of the best cards, period.
Yeah, one of the best cards, period. So it's like Spy enables you to do a lot of neat tricks. And then like worst comes to worst, you can even get Descendant, right? And then like Descendant being able to pop things can be a potential threat as well. So it's like Spy has its uses. But despite all its pros, we also have to talk about its cons. And the cons are that it loses to Deck Devastation Virus. And like granted, DivaHero is a deck that does get hit quite hard by DDV, but it can play around it in some circumstances depending on which cards get hit. Like you don't really care if like Treeborn, Malicious, Plague, Necro gets hit, right? You don't really care if those cards get hit. But you do care if your Diva gets hit. And you will care if your Spies get hit. And kind of like I was saying earlier, the thing about DivaHero is it plays just the right amount of dark monsters. So I feel like once you start adding the Spy package in, then it's like, I feel like it'll actually become harder to summon Dark Arm. And the reason why it'll become harder to summon Dark Arm is because the other dark monsters are mostly like hero monsters, and you can banish them with Miracle Fusion, right? And like Plague banishes itself as well. But when like a Spy or a Descendant gets to the grave, you can't get rid of it. It's just stuck in your grave.
Yeah,
so it actually makes it to summon later.
Yeah, the Gravekeepers are sturdy cards, like you said. They're really good for early game defense, etc., and maybe even rebuilding your board, setting up some synchro plays. But unlike the main crux of the deck, which is the heroes in the water, in order to go into absolute zero, and then, like you said, you have just enough darks for dad, they're not really reusable in the deck. Like once Spy and Descendant are used, they kind of just sit in your graveyard. Like, so if you don't have a way of fixing your grave, now granted you could like maybe Miracle Fusion certain cards away, and you can try to fix your grave to have 3 darks by utilizing the other darks that might be in the grave, but Spy and Descendant specifically just kind of sit there and rot, and there's not really anything you can do.
Yeah, and like also you always have to worry about drawing things like double Malicious. What if you draw a double Spy? Like that doesn't feel good. Or drawing like Spy and Descendant, like that doesn't feel good. Or even just like drawing like Descendant, Spy and Gilman, like that doesn't feel good. Like it's just
yeah.
I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. But like once again, Televisual had success with it. ShamWow had success with it. There may have been other duelists who also have success with it, but I would just place them in B tier. I don't think that their effects are worth it to be played. Honestly, I just think that there's better cards to summon. At the end of the day, in DivaHero, the monsters I want in my deck are heroes and waters, or cards that can get to heroes and waters, because I want it to be as consistent as possible. And one example of this, and I think it's a great time to talk about these next 2 cards, are Sangan and...
Okay, before we talk about those, I just want to mention, talking about the Gravekeepers, talking about Infernal Prodigy, before that, something you mentioned about Infernal Prodigy being so good is he helps your deck going second. Something people have to remember is 50% of the time you are going to go second. Most decks are already great at going first. Spy is a go first card. It feels really bad going second, setting Spy, and then you're just going to get fucking Raiko Caius or whatever, right?
Yes.
So Spy is a super strong going first card. DivaHero is already a strong going first deck. it doesn't really need help being better going first. Like you said, it does need help with defense and stuff, but maybe in that case, you do things like Defender or whatever. But Spy is a great going first card. When you go second, it feels really bad. When you're on the back foot, it feels really bad setting a Spy into known Raikos or Caiuses, etc. So I think that's another thing to consider, is making your deck flexible and functional going first and going second, and having the thought process in your head, how good is my deck going first already? Do I really need to try to make it better going first with Spy? Or should I try to make it more equipped to go second with things like Infernal Prodigy?
Yep, that's right. And so on to the topic of like Sangan and Card Trooper, there are some DivaHero lists and they're trying to cut Sangan. Why? It doesn't make sense. First of all, Sangan just by himself is broken. I mean, at one point he was even banned. And Sangan, he gets you both a hero and a water. No matter what piece you need, he can get you a hero or water. And even though like we're not talking about side deck cards, game 2 and 3, he can get you DD Crow. He can get you Fossil Dyna. Like Sangan, it's just like he's so good. And people say, oh, he's Shora food. And like the card that you get with Sangan should be better than the card that they get with Shora. Remember, the best Shora can do is make a level 5, getting value, or make a level 7. So it's just like, you shouldn't be put in a position where like an Armor Master is going to be the end of the game, especially in DivaHero. Do you know how easy it is to out Armor Master in DivaHero? You can just go Prodigy Caius, or you could just go Miracle Fusion 0. Like, it's not hard dealing with a level 7. And like, of course, if you commit a lot of cards to the field and they go like Black Rose, well, that's on you. I don't know why you would commit a lot of cards behind a Sangan. And like, if you do have a lot of cards, hopefully you can stop a Shora attack. You know what I mean? Just like, yes, they might plus off getting the, Shora's effect resolving, but like you getting Diva, you getting Prodigy, or you giving whatever card you need at the moment is going to be worth it. So it's just like Sangan, like he's really, really, really good. Now that said, the only problem with Sangan comes down to speed.
Yep.
Because like sometimes he's just slow. He's just a little bit slow because either he has to be attacked or he has to be tributed. And for both cases, for him to be attacked or tributed, it takes 1.5 turns. You know what I mean? So it's just like that can just be too slow. And like, yeah, you can like summon Sangan and torrential your own Sangan, but that feels terrible, right? Unless they have an established board and then you're doing that, unless your opponent has established board and then you do that, then it's fine. But anyway, Sangan, amazing. A. He's A for sure. Now, Card Trooper, the thing about Card Trooper is like, Card Trooper is really good, but it's not Sangan. Like, I personally don't think that he's better than Sangan. And why? Because Sangan is controlled. You can choose the card that you want to get. Whereas Card Trooper, you're relying on luck. And not only are you relying on luck, but like, DivaHero isn't Value Turbo. People are trying to say, oh, DivaHero and Value Turbo, they're playing so many of the same cards. They play Greffer, they play Necrogarna, and they list all these cards. Allure of Darkness, etc. It's just like Gores, like, no. They're different decks. Value Turbo, they want to mill 1 of 3 Values, 1 of 3 Sirocco's, Plague, Necro. 3, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 different cards that they want to mill. As a DivaHero player, you only want to mill Treeborn, 1 Malicious, because if you already have Malicious and then you mill another one, you're going to be tight.
Sad.
You're going to be tight. So Treeborn, 1 Malicious, 1 Necro. That's it. That's all you want to mill.
Yeah, Card Trooper's benefit is that he's easier to just summon face up, like summon, make him 19, attack, and then, when he dies, you draw a card. There's the benefits of that, but like you said, the milling for him isn't always an upside. There is some big. There's always rest of milling. You can mill your Heavy Storm, and now not only do you not have Heavy Storm ever, your opponent knows you don't have Heavy Storm ever. So there's always inherent risk to just random milling. Some decks are able to do it better than others, and by your argument, DivaHero is one of the more risky decks in order to just do random milling because you kind of have to be a scientist in making sure things are working the way you want them to work. You need your darks to be in the right order. You need your waters. You don't want things going to the graveyard too early or too late, etc.
Yeah, and then another thing too is like, if you mill your Miracle Fusion, that's it. You can't get absolute zero back. There's no way to fetch a spell back from the grave in DivaHero, right? So it's just like it's not going to feel good when you mill your spells like at all. So I just think like even though yes he's an Alta Fossil Dana, yes he's really good into face down cards like Hamster and Raikou. Yes, you can draw a card like Card Trooper itself. There's a reason why he's on the limited list in Edison format. But you know who else is on the limited list? Sangan.
Oh shit! I thought you were going to name some trash card. I thought you were going to be like, you know what else is limited, and just name some fucking garbage. Some people will say I just did that, but
yeah, Card Trooper overall, he's an S tier card, but not in DivaHero. In DivaHero, he's B. He's a tier below Sangan because I think Sangan is much better suited for DivaHero and how it works. All right.
Well, let's talk about. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say let's talk about the card that Card Trooper mills since we brought them all up.
Sure.
Yeah. So Plague S. Plague is so good, and the reason why Plague is so good, he's right next to Bottomless. Yeah. The reason why Plague is so good is because he's a tuner that you can use twice. He pairs well with Return from a Different Dimension, and more importantly, he helps unbrick your double malicious hands. He's all that in a bag of chips. He's S. Easy S. You can manipulate your graveyard for Dark Arm, like S.
He's a beautiful monster. Beautiful monster. Yeah. Everybody knows how great Plague is. He's an S tier card anyway, and he's S tier in DivaHero. And we also have Gardner.
Okay, so I have to give credit where credit is due. DivaHero was the first person to play, or at least popularize, let's say that, to popularize Necro Gardner in DivaHero. And he might have even been the first person to play it too, but I'm trying to cover all my bases. He's the one who came up with the Necro Armageddonite Grepher package. Because before, when I played DivaHero, I only played Dark Grepher. And then some of you might know who Oscar Urano is. He's a very talented DivaHero player, and he only played Armageddonite. So like there was this debate between like what is better, Armageddonite or Grepher? Armageddonite or Grepher? And then DivaHero was like, well, why not just play both and throw in a Necro Gardner? And I can tell you, Dave was right. Dave was right. And now, you know, this is just a little side thing. If I have to choose between one of the three, I'm choosing Grepher all day because Grepher enables OTKs, Grepher unbricks double malicious. But at the end of the day, what is right is for all three of the monsters to be played in DivaHero, right? At the very least, Grepher and Armageddonite. You know, Necro you can debate, but I do think Necro earned his spot in DivaHero. But yeah, so anyway, where does Necro fall into? It's kind of hard to say because like Necro, you don't want to draw it.
No.
Right? In the same way of Malicious, you don't want to draw it. But Necro can get sent to the graveyard easier than you think because you have Armageddonite, you have Dark Grepher. I mean, that's really it. There's no other way. Some DivaHero lists are considering tampering around with the idea of Foolish Burial. So there's another card. We've recommended you so many cards so far, right?
I think Foolish Burial definitely. I'm kind of shocked that it hasn't been played more in DivaHero. I think it's just a card that can randomly. I just think Foolish Burial is randomly good. Where I think it can just do crazy shit.
Yeah, especially if you're playing like, you know, Treeborn or if you just need a random hero or Warder in the Grave, like Foolish isn't terrible. What makes Fusion so good is that it's Foolish Burial, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, Necro, it's like I said, it's hard to place him because like you don't want to draw him. But like when he's set in your graveyard, he helps with the problem of DivaHero, which is lacking defense. So I think a fair placement for Necro, because I do think he does deserve to be played. I think A. I think A is fair because he's really, 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 really good. And then like DivaHero is one of those decks that like once it gets banished, you can reuse it again, like in Bayou Turbo. Even though DivaHero doesn't play Burial, DivaHero does play Return. So you can go like Return, Necro, bring it back, synchro with like the Plague that we were just talking about earlier, and then the Necro and make like an android, and now they have to deal with Necro again. So
it's kind of really crazy that Plague Spreader Zombie, just to gas him up a little bit, can be used 4 times ideally. Like you can use Plague, synchro, use his effect, bring him back synchro, he gets banished, later in the duel, return from different dimension, he comes back, synchro, he's back in the graveyard, uses effect, he's banished synchro. Like he's fucking Plague is so crazy.
it's like, I know we're not, the Value Turbo, channel right now, but like the thing about Value Turbo, if you look at a Value Turbo's graveyard, they have a lot of synchros in their grave, but they only have 2 tuners, Gale and Plague. That's it. Value doesn't count because unless you're me or Nicholas97, you're not playing Shora, so your value's not going to be negated. So it's just like they only play 2 tuners, but their graveyard is often filled with synchros. And I'm not just talking about the value synchros. And it's because of Plague. They can keep reusing Plague again and again and again.
He's a dangerous card. So we have Plague in S. We have Necro Gardener in A. And those are 2 cards that we were talking about getting milled off of Card Trooper. And they're just great cards in general.
Words.
And now we're talking about the package that comes along with Gardener that was in the deck before Gardener. We have Greffer and Armageddon Knight.
Greffer, S, easy S, and I already explained why. And this is the thing, and I'm willing to say, and you mentioned this too, right? It's like sometimes top players are not always right. And I never said anything bad about Armageddon Knight. Even like there's videos of me when I was playing DivaHero heavily. I just said that I think Greffer is better, and I'm still holding to that. However, that said, Armageddon Knight is an S tier card in DivaHero. It is S.
They're both S.
And I should have realized that sooner, right? I should have realized that sooner. But anyway, Armageddon Knight is that boy. Going Army, because Army, first of all, he can beat Falsodina. Second of all, he plays under Bottomless. Like Armageddon Knight's only problem is like he's a deck devy target, but like deck devy is one of those cards where it's just like you can't really do much about. You know what I mean? It's just like you just have to, if they have it, they have it. And then you continue to play the game. Like that's it. But Armageddon Knight, like S, he's so good. He's so good. Because he allows you to do what we dub as the desperate value turbo play. Because when you have nothing else, you can go summon army, send Plague, stack, make a level 6. Which in most cases is Goyu Guardian, but it also could be Brio, right? Because Brio's a water monster. You might be able to pitch that Malicious and then play your Miracle Fusion or something, right? So he allows you to do a plays that can get you out of tight situations. So, I mean, Armageddon Knight, S. Greffer, S.
Easy. And then, I think it's a good point to talk about Rhoda, because E-Call's played sometimes. Main reason why you play E-Calls because you want to get Stratos. He's an S-tier card. But the other cards E-Call searches are Alias, Ocean, or something else maybe you think to tech in. Rhoda, however, which I think, E-Call and Rhoda get compared a lot. They're very similar cards. The reason why Rhoda, I think, is most commonly played in DivaHero over E-Call is because we'll look at what it searches. E-Call searches Stratos and then Alias and Ocean. Rhoda searches Stratos, Greffer, Armageddon Knight. Look at what Rhoda searches. Rhoda is crazy.
And that's the thing, like that you just highlighted it, right? People compare Stratos to Machina Gear Frame because they have the same attack and a similar effect. But the reason why Stratos is better than Gear Frame is because of what Stratos can search. The pool of cards that Stratos can search, even in Edison format, is far better than the pool of cards that Machina Gear Frame can search. So it's like, yes, they're comparable attack. I mean, the same attack, and they have similar effects, but they're not the same cards. And the same is the case with E-Call and Rhoda. Yes, they have similar cards that they can search out, but Rhoda is an S tier card. And there's a reason why it's limited in Edison format, because it just has a better pool of cards that it can search. Like if Rhoda was at 2, I would definitely say play 2 Rhodas instead of playing like, 1 Rhoda, 1 E-Call. You would just play 2 Rhodas because Rhoda can just search out the card you need. Like Rhoda, it's just like, there's soft reasons why Rhoda is like so good too. Your opponent goes first turn, trap dust shoot. They look at the Rhoda and then they just feel salty. Yeah. Right. Like it's just, yeah. You get deck devied and then it's like, all right, I'm going to Rhoda and now I'm going to search out my Armageddon Knight. I'm going to send the Necro. Okay.
So
clean.
We went a long time in DivaHero not talking about Diva. So let's talk about Diva and Spine Gilman, of course.
All right. Diva S. I mean, that goes without saying. Diva is really good because, first of all, you can go Diva get Diva, and that's really good because if you're going Diva get Diva, you're probably going to kill your opponent that turn. Especially if you're playing the Spy package, you can make 2 level 6s in one turn. Or even if you have a Malicious in the grave, you can make a level 6 and a level 8 in one turn. And if you have a hero in the grave with a level 4 on the field, you can do what I have been calling the DivaHero OTK, which is a level 6, a level 8, and absolute 0. And that's over 8,000 points of damage, right? So if the level 6 you make is Bionic, not only will you have more than 8,000 points of damage on the board, but you'll also be able to clear your opponent's board of back rows or monsters. So it's really, really, really good to get double Diva. And even like going Diva into Gilman is amazing because it's an easy Catastor or Android. And as many of you might know, because I say this every time it's brought up, but I was the first person to main Deck Devastation Virus, and I mained it in DivaHero. And the reason why I mained it in DivaHero is because one of the plays that I would do is I would go summon Diva, get Gilman, make Catastor, sec Deck Devi, go. Draw phase, Deck Devi. And then people will be like, wait, what?
What the fuck just happened?
They never saw it coming. Because at that time, nobody main decked it. And there are, if you think I'm just capping, check the list. Check the list. Check the list on Format Library. Check the list. Even the Blackwing players, they didn't main it. The Value players, they didn't main it. Look at Matt Kalinda's deck. He did not main it. Nobody mained it. I was the first person to main it. But anyway, I digress, right? But anyway, Diva, because it allows, water get a water, allows for OTKs, allows for easy level 5 synchros, even level 6 synchros, easy level 8 synchros, Diva's S.
I mean, now, don't get it twisted. Diva is the reason when Edison format was in its infancy, when it was young in like 2020 or 2021, whenever the fuck it was, people thought DivaHero was the best deck. And Diva is a big reason for that. DivaHero was considered #1 best deck. DivaHero is a big reason. Diva's the reason why Diva Zombies were played so much. People really, I feel like you don't really see zombies at all anymore. They've become much more scarce. But a big reason that zombies were good is because of Diva. Deep Sea Diva is an incredible card. She's monstrous. She has so many plays that she can do. Yeah. And she's so powerful that you play a Garnet, which is on Spine Gilman.
And Deep Sea Diva, she's the original tour guide. And if you know what tour guide is, like, they basically have the same effect. But once again, what makes tour guide better than Diva is the pool of cards that tour guide can search, right? Tour guide gets Sangan is amazing, right? And then you can make rank 3s. But anyway, Diva is the original tour guide and Diva's broken. And Spine Gilman, this is the thing about Spine Gilman. When you don't draw him, he's amazing. Because you can get Gilman off of Diva. And sometimes, believe it or not, when you do draw him, he's not that bad. Because Spine Gilman is seen as like a joke that like your opponent doesn't want to waste resources on them. So they might have a bottomless and you'll go summon Gilman and they're just like, I'm not going to bottomless a Gilman.
Yeah,
and then they take 17.
Yeah, they get ego death.
And then like they'll take 17 again. And 17 twice is 34. That's basically half your life points. It's like that pitchfork starts to sting. So it's just like people don't want to waste resources on Spine Gilman because he's like a laughing stock. Now, of course, I'm not saying like you want to draw him. You don't want to draw him. But usually drawing him is not the worst. And like if I have to choose a card to trade into Raikou, like Gilman into Raikou is not bad, right? Of course, Gilman into Hamster, you feel awful. You feel awful. But like overall, Gilman is like, he's good. He's better than people give him credit for. I still don't want to draw him. I draw him every time, but it is what it is. Gilman, like, he's A. And I know this is kind of hard. Like
that sounds crazy.
Might be crazy. But the reason why he A is, once again, not because of Gilman himself, but it's largely due to the fact that, like, Gilman is what makes Diva better.
Yeah, it's what he does for the deck.
Yeah, it's what he does for the deck. It's like, because I can argue that Malicious and Gilman, because you don't want to draw double Malicious, you don't want to draw double Gilman, you're not going to play double Gilman, right? That's what they deserve, right next to each other, right? But at the end of the day, you have to think about how they act in confines of the deck. And like Gilman is what makes it good. There's not a better Sea Surfer you can get with Deep Sea Diva.
Yeah.
Like there's like the,
Malicious
color over ones, but yeah.
My bad. I was going to say, yeah, Malicious. I think the way you just said it is actually really good. What makes Malicious good is that he summons Malicious and you do things with Malicious, etc. Spine Gilman himself sucks, but what makes him good in the deck, in the construction of the deck, is Diva, and so Diva is like the Malicious for Gilman or whatever. But yeah, Diva gets Gilman, and they work together. And so even though Gilman himself is just a vanilla monster, he has some nice uses. Like you said, you don't feel that bad if you have Gilman and you crash into their, like, you kill their Raikou. It's like, okay, like, their Raikou, instead of getting a good card, got my Gilman, cool. And then once again, he makes Diva what Diva is. Diva's good on her own, just getting herself, but having her get Gilman opens up a lot of the plays for the deck. So obviously, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, Gilman is not an A-tier card, but in the context of this deck, you would put him right with Malicious.
That's right. And then also, as you get more experience playing the deck, you just learn how to, like, play with Gilman better. And one way that's, like, seems quite simple since I'm explaining it, you can just stack them with Plague. Stack them with Plague, and then, like, shuffle your deck, like maybe activate Rhoda, maybe summon Stratos, you know what I mean? Or even summon Diva. So it's just like, there are ways to, like, put Gilman back in the deck in the same way there are ways to put Malicious back in the deck, right? It's much easier with Malicious because he's a dark, so you can easily go, like, summon Greffer, pitch Molly, send Plague, and then, like, stack, whereas you can't do that with Gilman because he's a water. But at the end of the day, if you become more experienced with the deck, then, like, drawing Gilman, it's not the worst. You know, it's better than drawing Vayu. You know what I mean? Vayu's 800 and doesn't do anything. At least Gilman is 17, right? So
17 is not a bad stat. He got work he can do. So let's talk about, because you mentioned it along with this conversation, let's talk about a little bit of deck Devi.
All right, so this is the thing. DivaHero and deck Devi, I personally think that DivaHero should play the card. And the reason why is because, like, I feel like when you play DivaHero, you are trying your luck at the casino. Because DivaHero, although it's a great deck, you got to get a little bit lucky. And, you know, I've said this in an interview that I did recently, and, like, I didn't want to offend anyone, and I hope this statement doesn't offend anyone, but it is the truth. When you think about, like, great DivaHero players, there's, like, 3 to 4. Everyone else who's top with DivaHero has only done it one time. And, like, those 3 to 4 players, like, you can name them. It's like me, it's Oscar Ruano. Back in the day, it was Shilch's Ruin, but, like, he doesn't play it at all anymore. And then, like, you can argue ShamWow. Aside from, like, the 4 of us, no one has consistently top with DivaHero. And, like, even some of the names that I just, you know, mentioned, like, recognize this. So anyway, the point I'm saying, to get back to DVD, is, like, this increases your odds of winning because of how powerful it is. And, like, you want as many high rolls as possible. And that's exactly what DDV is going to do for the deck. Not to mention, like, it's one of the few decks that can DDV someone turn 1. DDV is best played in Vayu Turbo because of 2 reasons. 1, they can summon a dark with attack of 2,000 or more on the first turn. 2, when they tribute that monster, which in most cases is Armwing, it's not a minus for them. Because, like, once that next Vayu hits the graveyard, they can reuse that Vayu and Armwing to make another Synchro. So the best deck it is in Vayu Turbo. But, like, in other decks like Black Wings, they can't turn 1 DDVU without minusing themselves, because they would have to go, like, summon a level 4 Blackwing, special summon Gale, then DDV. That's 3 cards. Shura, Gale, DDV. That's 3 cards. It's too much. And at most, like, especially these days, because decks have been kind of, like, tailored to playing around DDV, you're not going to hit that many cards with DDV. So it's like, DivaHero can do it with just 2 cards, with Diva and DDV. That's it, which is really, really, really good. And, like, outside of Diva, you have other options too. But the point is, DivaHero can do it turn 1. Most decks can't do it turn 1, with the exception of Vayu Turbo. And you want to high roll as much as possible. So where am I putting DDV? I'm going to put it in A. I'm not going to put it in S tier because it's not always the most consistent card. But, like, when you resolve it, it's so good.
I like it. Let's talk about Gold Sark. Gold Sark is a card that I don't think is in every list. It's in let's say half the list, 50% of the list. It's in list, not in all of them. What do we got on Gold Sark? What is your thought on Gold Sark? Is it too slow? Is it just perfect? What cards are you searching off Gold Sark if you're playing it, etc.?
I'll say this. Every single DivaHero list that I've topped with, all of them, I've main deck Gold Sark. Every last single one of them. Now, that said, when we look at Oscar Ruano, he has not played Gold Sark. So really, it comes down to personal preference. If you want to play Gold Sark, play it. If you don't want to play Gold Sark, the deck has shown to be successful without it. But I do think that like Gold Sark is so good because it puts your opponent on a clock. The cards you're searching are Dark Arm, Heavy Storm, Future Fusion, etc. And in 2 turns, the game's over. But the reason why this can be a double-edged sword is because if you Sark for Heavy Storm, your opponent is going to play really aggressive.
Yep.
Same thing. If you Sark for Dad, etc., any of these like high-level limited cards, the opponent is going to play aggressive because they know once 2 turns come, why did you Sark for Heavy Storm? Because you're going to kill them. You know what I mean? It's just like, and when you're not playing Gold Sark, you can just die out of nowhere because you didn't have an indicator. You didn't have a clock ticking down. You can think of Gold Sark of like, if you've ever played any Final Fantasy game, when like the boss casts Doom on you. When a boss casts Doom on you and then you see the number going down, what are you going to do? You're going to play aggressive and try to beat them before that clock hits 0. Because once that clock hits 0, you're dead. Same thing with Gold Sark. If I Gold Sark, I've cast Doom on you as like, a Final Fantasy player, right? I cast Doom on you. If you don't kill me before your Doom counter is to 0, the game's over. And it's really that simple.
That's a fun way. That's a fun way of explaining it.
Yeah.
So Gold Sark, where are we putting it?
Gold Sark, because it has been proven that you don't need it in the deck, but I do think it's very good because like you can get a lot of your like really good cards. I would say it's between A and B. So let's just put it in B. You can just put it in B, but I do think the card is very, very, very good. And some other niche uses that you could do with Gold Sark, you can go Gold Sark and then banish your Plague, banish your Malicious, flip up Return. It's really, 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 really good. So Gold Sark is
out of nowhere, scaring the shit out of people. You had no banish pile. All of a sudden, Gold Sark happened. Return. Oh my god, I'm dead. Let's talk about Future Fusion. We mentioned it a couple times. Everybody knows what Future Fusion is. It's a crazy card.
Yeah. I mean, it's Foolish Burial. It gets your engine going. It sends both Hero and Water. And I think now this is the perfect time to bring up our boy Treeborn, because the best 2 cards that you can send with Future Fusion are Malicious and Treeborn. And Treeborn, as I've mentioned before, he's often forgotten about. But I think it really depends on the build of DivaHero that you're playing. If you're playing Triple Caius, Treeborn is a mandatory. He's a staple. And the reason why he's so good is because he helps you play around Royal Oppression. And not only that, when the Future Fusion disappears from your field, you get a +1 every turn because Treeborn keeps coming back again and again and again, which means you don't ever have to worry about having fodder for Caius because it'll be there. And when you have Deep Sea Diva and you didn't draw into the Gilman like I always do, instead of making level 5s, now you can make level 6s. And that's relevant because Brionic is a level 6. So like just that extra body, that extra 1 star is really, really, really useful. You know, and if you're playing Mistworm, you can also make level 9 because Malicious, Diva, Treeborn, that's 9. So Treeborn allows you to do a couple more niche plays and make more synchros and provide that defense each and every turn. And another card that's not here on this list that DivaHero players can consider is Enemy Controller. And the reason why Enemy Controller is so good is because you can econ the Treeborn, but not only econ the Treeborn, because Diva gets another card out the deck, you can go Diva get Diva or Diva get Gilman, tribute the second card that Diva gets, take your opponent's monster and synchro with it. Or another kind of niche of Enemy Controller is like, you don't have to worry about playing around Gores. If you have the OTK on your board, attack with 0 first, they drop Gores, go Enemy Controller, tribute your 0, take their Gores, and then since 0 was destroyed, now their field is destroyed. And like they already dropped
Enemy
Gores.
Controller, that's another card that I'm kind of surprised isn't really ever played, or I don't really ever see it. I think Enemy Controller is randomly kind of good in DivaHero. The fact that any way that you can just like cheesily remove your own Absolute Zero to do some cheesy shit. Like there's obviously Tribute Absolute Zero for Caius. There's use Absolute Zero to summon an Absolute Zero. enemy controller with your absolute zero is crazy because you take their guy, you're gonna Raigeki their field, swing for game. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. And then like Econ also, it's like special summon Prodigy, enemy controller, take their monster, tribute it for Caius. Like Econ, so actually I topped with a DivaHero list maining decking enemy controller. So like if you check format library, you can find it eventually. I do think Econ is like a really good card. And it's defense. It's defense, it's offense. Like it's just randomly a really, really, really good card. So I mean, anyway, we're not here to talk about Econ, but we're here to talk about Treeborn. And I think Treeborn needs more love. I'm putting him in A tier. He's so good.
Treeborn in A tier. Future Fusion, obviously S tier. That card's broken. It threatens absolute zero. Once again, it's another clock. It's a Doom counter. You put Future Fusion on the field. You cast Doom. It's a clock. Do not let absolute zero hit the field off of Future Fusion. You're probably going to die. And on top of that, not only is it, hey, here's a clock, you're dead in 2 turns, it's also, you might be dead this turn, because I also just set me up to be ready now. So, like, I set you up to be dead tomorrow and today. Future Fusion is crazy. Treeborn is extremely good. Great card. Absolute Zero, I didn't put all of the extra deck cards in here, because you can just talk about a lot of the extra deck cards. We have Armory Arm, Colossal, Brionic, Stardust, all incredible cards, all worth talking about in the context of the deck. But in general, Stardust Dragon, he's great. Absolute Zero, I just added him because he's the guy, and I just wanted him to be here. And we needed, he's the guy.
Let's just quickly throw in a couple S tier cards, right? The S tier cards that everyone knows. So Absolute Zero, S. Dark Arm, S. Miracle Fusion, S. Brain Control, S. Heavy Storm, S. Let's just get those cards out the way. All right.
Miracle Fusion, Heavy Storm. Let's see.
And then
Heavy Storm.
we can quickly talk about.
We have Future Miracle Fusion, Heavy Storm, Brain Control. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about these cards because I think they do deserve just talking a little bit about. They're obviously broken, but why is Heavy Storm so good in DivaHero, Cairo? Why?
Why? Right. First of all, DivaHero can be played control style or OTK style. And no matter which style you're playing, Heavy Storm helps out with that agenda. Just being able to clear your opponent's back rows to set up for a push or even a slow grind is amazing. I mean, Heavy Storm is one of those cards in Edison format where it's just like you as the player can open up like a hand of 6 and then you're like, I hope my opponent doesn't have Heavy Storm. And it's just like if they do have Heavy Storm, you could lose. And if they don't have Heavy Storm, you're likely going to win. Heavy Storm is just that card. And like Heavy Storm doesn't play, a particular special role in DivaHero. It just allows you to clear the way as it does in any other deck.
It just lets you kill.
It just lets you kill. I mean, Brain Control, once again, it does the same thing that it does in every other deck. You steal your opponent's monsters. And DivaHero, you're playing some number of Caiuses. So you Brain Control Caius is an amazing combo. And because you're playing Miracle Fusion, depending on the matchup, you can sometimes Miracle Fusion your opponent card away. So like if you're up against Frogs, you can Brain Control their Treeborn, and then you can go Miracle Fusion, banish their Treeborn, right?
Yep.
Or like if you're playing Treeborn in your deck, you can go like Brain Control, take your opponent's Substitute, tribute their Substitute, and get Treeborn out your deck, right? Another reason why I think Treeborn is good. It's just the small things like this. But anyway, Brain Control, it just does what Brain Control does.
Yeah,
the only additional benefit that it gives in DivaHero is the option to banish cards, your opponent's cards with Miracle Fusion. But it's just S tier because it's just a broken card.
Miracle Fusion, broken card. It's a bomb. You set your deck up. This is the whole reason the deck Miracle Fusion bring out this guy, Absolute Zero, who is one of the greatest heroes ever printed. Just insane. And then you also mentioned Caius.
Now, this is the thing. I want to say one quick thing about Miracle Fusion before we talk about Caius. Now, one card that's not here that also is played in some Absolute Zero decks, and we already kind of explained why, but Gaia, right? We explained why because we said we weren't going to list every extra deck monster because there's too many. But Gaia, Elemental Hero Gaia, he's also a really great card, and he's not played in every list because simply DivaHero doesn't have space, and he can be a little bit difficult to make because
you need an Earth monster, right?
you need an earth monster, but the hard part is you specifically need an elemental hero. Whereas Absolute Zero, you need any hero.
Yeah.
So like, just keep that in mind. But anyway, Gaia, great. Caius, S. Caius is S. And like, because Caius is S, like, I don't understand why people are going to 2. Like, I've tried many ratios with Caius. I've tried 1, I've tried 2, I've tried 3. And I can tell you right now, play 3. Just play 3. I spoke to a prominent player, and I was asking his opinion on what do you think about Caius? And we weren't talking about DivaHero, but we were just talking about like Caius in general. And I was like, I see a lot of people playing 2 Caius, but I see you've topped so many different events. And this person, by the way, is Mark Garcia. Shout outs to him. If you know him, he's gotten 2nd place at 2 different Ultimate Time Wizard events. He even beat me, and he allowed me. He sent me to the 3rd place Doom, right? But anyway, I was talking to Mark Garcia, and I was like, what do you think about Caius? Should you play 2? Should you play 3? I seen your zombies. Sometimes you play 2, sometimes you play 3. Like, what is right? Because I do think zombies and DivaHero are quite comparable in the way that they play. And this is what he said, and I'll never forget it. He said, if your deck can support 3, play 3. And then after he said that, I was like, okay, yeah, you're just right. And even in like Mark Garcia, he topped another event recently. I think it was like the LDS. Sadly, he like lost in top 16, but like in Swiss, I think he was like undefeated, but then lost in top 16. But anyway, I was looking at a zombie list, and people don't look at the top 16 deck list, but like the top 16 deck lists are good players too, right?
Yeah.
Especially in Mark's case, because he went undefeated or X1 in Swiss, and like just because he lost the next round, which is unfortunate, he didn't get top 8, and like nobody knows, right? Unless you were following him. But anyway, in his most recent zombie list, he was playing triple Caius, and it's just like, why was he playing triple Caius? Because his deck can support it. Why should DivaHero play triple Caius? Because DivaHero can support it. Once again, you are playing 2 prodigies. You should be playing Treeborn. You have also...
And by the way, you should be playing Prodigy. Like you said, some people are trying to cut that guy. So you should... Some people are like, I don't play 2 Prodigy. It's like, well.
Let's start there. And then, like, do you know how broken it is to go, like, tribute Absolute Zero for Caius? It's so broken because your opponent can't even respond with Starlight Road. Because Chainlink 1 will be 0 and Chainlink 2 will be Caius, and they're both mandatory effects. So your opponent can't respond with Starlight Road because Starlight Road has to directly negate the card in the chain. So they can't even Road. And by the way, Road is a terrible card against Absolute Zero, even without that interaction, because Road has to destroy the card in the same place. So let's say, for example, like, I don't know, you Mirror Force my Absolute Zero, and then you activate Starlight Road. Well, you can't summon Stardust. Why? Even if my Absolute Zero would destroy more than 2 of your cards, the problem is Zero is being destroyed by Mirror Force, not by Starlight Road. And since Starlight Road didn't destroy the card, you can't summon Stardust. Now, it will prevent your field from like being destroyed by Absolute Zero, but you can't summon Stardust out of your extra deck. So like Starlight Road like is terrible against Absolute Zero, the card. It's terrible. So don't try to, Zero's gonna destroy many of my cards, I'm gonna side in Starlight Road. Like, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Not worth it.
Yeah. So, but going back to Caius, like in Edison format, he's the top dog, and DivaHero can support him easily. So he's S tier, and yeah.
Okay. Let's get a couple traps out of the way, and then we'll get to some other more exciting things. But let's just get like a couple traps. What do they do for DivaHero? Do you like them? Like Bottomless, Torrential, Trap Dust Shoot, Deep Prison, Compulsory, Mirror Force. And then Mind Crush will do after all of those, because Mind Crush is a unique case.
Special one. Okay, so this is the thing about Bottomless. I have actually topped a DivaHero build where I think only main 1 Bottomless, because Bottomless is one of those cards where it's so good and it's so bad. And the reason why it's so bad is because Bottomless is terrible in set monsters, and Bayou Turbo is setting monsters, right? And like against Black Wings, it's really good, but against Hero Frogs, like Bottomless isn't the best because you don't want to bottomless a Monarch because then you go minus, right? Yes, you hit the Monarch, but then the Monarch's likely not going to target your Bottomless. It's going to target like your Monster, Synchro, etc. So you just go minus on the Bottomless, right? But at the end of the day, it's like you need Bottomless in DivaHero because DivaHero's worst matchups, Bottomless helps out. It helps out against Black Wings. It helps out against like Gladiator Beast. I don't think Gladiator Beast is a terrible matchup, but like I've seen people in the DivaHero Discord complain nonstop about the Gladiator Beast matchup. I'm just like, I just read it and I'm thinking to myself, just get better. just get better. But anyway, Bottomless, I mean, yeah, you kind of need it. It's an A. It's just a good trap. Okay. Torrential, I mean, the thing about Torrential is like Torrential itself is an S tier card, but in the confines of DivaHero, it's just like it depends. And the reason why it depends is because you don't want to blow up your own field. And this is kind of like the argument that people had with Torrential and Black Wings. For the longest of time, Torrential was not played in Black Wings because Black Wings is a control deck, and control decks like Six Samurais, Black Wings, etc., they have board presence. You don't want to get rid of that board presence with a board wiper, especially your own card. However, in DivaHero, because like you can do some tricks with it, like if you have a Stardust and Torrential and your opponent goes like summon Caius, you can like activate Torrential and then like dodge by attributing your own Stardust. And Torrential just itself is like a really good card, but I don't think it really helps with the deck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a good card because it's Torrential. Mirror Force and Torrential is just a good card. But I think like in DivaHero, like you definitely 100% should be playing it. It should be in all lists. But I can't give it S. I think A is appropriate, but I do think it belongs in every list though.
Mirror Force, just A, S.
A. Mirror Force is not A, sorry, S. Mirror Force is S. And the reason why Mirror Force is S is because
Mirror Force.
Do you know how hard it is to out Stardust Mirror Force?
It's Mirror Force. And like
so hard.
Dust Shoot.
And like, yeah.
Oh wait, did you have something to say about Mirror Force? I just assumed it was Mirror Force and we were good.
Nah, just last thing, just quick about Mirror Force is like DivaHero is the best deck at making level 8 synchros. It's the best deck in the format. That's the one like Glory, like Flowers, I'll give DivaHero. Like it makes level 8 synchros like quite easily. I mean, and that's why I mean that, and now I guess you can say Stardust Assault mode. But anyway, Stardust Mirror Force is an amazing combo, so S. Dust Shoot, S. Dust Shoot is S just because it's Dust Shoot. It doesn't necessarily do anything special for DivaHero. But some niche plays that you can do, if you ever like draw a dead Dust Shoot, DivaHero makes Bionic very easily. Just Bionic and bounce their cards and then Dust Shoot them. So there you go. There's an advanced tip.
Hey, there you go. Do you keep Dust Shoot in going second, or is it maybe? Is it always sided out, or is it just depends on matchup? Depends on matchup.
Yeah, it really just depends on the matchup. Deep Prison. So, story about Deep Prison. Now, in my earlier DivaHero list, I did not play Deep Prison because I didn't think that it was necessary. But I do think that you need Deep Prison in DivaHero now because like Deep Prison outs Vanity's Fiend and Falsadina. And it's just a generically just good card. I think it's one of the better traps in DivaHero, to be honest. But like, I wouldn't say it's S because like you want to draw it, but like you're not really too happy if you draw like double Deep Prison. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like you need Deep Prison behind something, behind like a Stardust or Absolute Zero or something, right?
Sure.
A is just fine.
And
Compulsory. Same. It's just another trap. It's another great trap. It belongs in A tier. You can do like some pretty cool combos. Like you can return your Stratos, summon Dark Arm Bottomless, return your Dark Arm, drop it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compulsion Absolute Zero, blow up their field. You know what I mean? So you can do some niche things, but at the end of the day, it's just Compulse. So A.
All right. Let's talk about Mind Crush because Mind Crush I don't feel like is commonly played at all. And I know you played it.
Right. So I played it because I believed in the Holy Trinity at the time, which was Deck Devi, Dust Shoot, Mind Crush. Because I was a big fan and believer of, even back in 2023, that if you have knowledge of your opponent's hand and you can rip cards out their hand, they can't play the game. Because all the cards that wind up on the board and on the field usually come from your hand. Right? In some cases, you can mill them so they come from the deck, but in most times, they're coming from the hand. So I was just like, the hand is one of the most powerful places to attack. And up until recently, the hand was a very safe place. Before I played DDV, the hand was safe. Before, because Mind Crush isn't really used. I don't know why. It's just not really used. And then like now these days, spiritual water art is very popular because people are finally, I think, starting to understand that like ripping the hand is so good. So I mean, like, how does Mind Crush fare in the context of DivaHero? It doesn't really help the deck, to be honest. I just think like it's just a good generic chap. And I think Mind Crush is a card that scales. It scales with the user. Because if you're a person who has a lot of experience and you have a good sense of the game, and you can kind of like read like what your opponent may have based off how they're playing, the card is amazing. And it's better in certain events than others, because in some events, like for example, RBTs, they have to reveal whether you call right or wrong. But in other events, once again, it always depends. They don't have to reveal. So I mean, like in those events where you have to reveal it, it gets better. But at the end of the day, it depends on the
in my
player
opinion,
itself.
I just think it's absurd. Any event that would say that you don't have to reveal. How do I confirm that you don't have the card in your hand? Like that's insane. That's like I just think you have to reveal. You don't reveal. I call Caius. I don't have Caius. Oh, okay. Can you prove it? No. And then he goes draw for turn, summon Caius. You go, I just drew it. I just drew Caius. I just drew it. Get the fuck out of here.
I remember when I was at the Ultimate Time Wizard, I called a card with Mind Crush and I called wrong, and the opponent said he didn't have it. And like, I'm not playing this game. And the thing is, at the Time Wizard, you don't have to reveal for Mind Crush. So what I did was I just called the judge. Judge came over. Hey, I called Mind Crush. He said he doesn't have it. Can you confirm he doesn't have it? Do you know what the judge told me?
What?
Can I do that?
What?
Yes, that was my reaction. I'm like, bro, you're the judge. Just tell me if he has the card or not so I can know he's not cheating me.
Yeah, then, what do you mean? Like, he's saying he doesn't have the card. Yes, you can confirm that he doesn't have the card. Because if he does have the card, he's cheating. Judge?
Yes. So, anyway, where am I placing Mind Crush? Because Mind Crush doesn't add to the deck, and I do think it's a difficult card to play, I can't put it in S, I can't put it in A, and I can't even put it in B. I have to put it in C, and I think C is very appropriate. But once again, if you're a very, very, very good player, Mind Crush can easily be an S tier card, easily, especially if you're combining it with cards like, you know, the Trinity, as I explained before. So,
sure.
All right, so let's talk about spell and trap removal. So spell and trap removal in DivaHero is extremely important because DivaHero loses to Royal Oppression. And
I've heard you complain about oppression. You don't fuck with the ops. You don't fuck with the ops at all.
Think about DivaHero's best hand. Like, I'm going to give a quick scenario. Let's say your hand is Prodigy, Caius, Future Fusion, Dark Arm, Diva, and we'll give you a trap, Torrential. All of those cards lose to False Dyna. If a False Dyna is on the field, you just lose. You know what I mean? Now, of course, with Torrential, you can make some niche plays where it's like, worst comes to worst, you can summon the Prodigy that I mentioned that's in your hand and Torrential your own board. But like, the point is, it's just like, DivaHero's best hands lose to just a False Dyna. That's it. It's that bad. And the only thing that can run over False Dyna is, you know, Grepher, Armageddonite, Stratos. But the point is, cards that lock you out, whether they be Dyna, whether they be Vanity's Fiend, or whether they be Oppression, you need outs to them. So that's why MST, Heavy Storm, Giant Trunade are so important in DivaHero. Now, MST, S tier. It's S tier. And the reason why it's S tier is not just because it destroys the ops, but it's also because of the niche plays that you can do with Stardust. Like I said, DivaHero is the best deck at making level 8s in the format. So it's like Stardust loses to D-Prison and Caius. And an MST played well, you can play tricks on it, right? So it's like you can attack, they go D-Prison, chain MST, target a different back row, or target the D-Prison, tribute Stardust to negate, right? And now you don't lose your Stardust to a D-Prison. Same with Caius, right? They go tribute for Caius, and then you can go MST, target the back row, tribute Stardust to negate. So it's like, and you can just use MST as MST to get rid of any back row. It doesn't have to be Oppression. It can be Torrential. It could be anything. So it's like MST is S tier because it just has such great uses with the deck. Giant Trunade. Now, Giant Trunade, I have not played with this in DivaHero, but Oscar Ruano got top 8 at Anaheim with DivaHero. And, you know, you can watch his interview about it on YouTube. And he said for him, it cooked. But I personally don't like Giant Trunade. And this is the thing. Though I haven't used Giant Trunade in DivaHero, I've used Giant Trunade more than you would think. Because I live in Korea, as some of you may or may not know. And in Korea, they play a retro format, which is called 1103. And in 1103, which stands for March 2011, they play, it's a format similar to Tengu format. And in that format, the Korean format, let's just call it the Korean format, Heavy Storm is banned. So their sweeper is Giant Trunade. So I use Giant Trunade in that format when I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! On the weekends here in Korea. So it's like I use Giant Trunade a lot is what I'm getting to, right? I mean, and the problem with Giant Trunade is like, it's really good when you're going to kill them. But if you don't kill them and something goes wrong, you just minus yourself. And like, if you're going to just try to like temporarily stop the back rows, it would be better just to play Cold Wave, right? Yeah. But Trunade, I think it is really good because most players, I would only use Trunade if they're going for the kill. But you don't know if they have Gores. You don't know if they have Battle Fader. You don't know.
That's the thing. Trunade is really fucking good. It's one, if you're just going for the kill, it's a fantastic kill you card. When people are sitting there and they're like, okay, Heavy's gone, just like how you were earlier saying with Mobius, Heavy's gone, I'm safe, and then all of a sudden they hit by Mobius. Heavy's gone, I'm safe. Trunade, oh my god, I'm dead. So Trunade is a terrifying card. It can just get you game. And on top of that, in some random niche cases, let's say you're playing against like GBs or something, and they have Starlight Road back there. Like, Trunade can't be Starlight Roaded. So Trunade, in some niche cases, is better than Heavy Storm. Because you Trunade, they can't Starlight Road you, and now you just push for game and you win. So I think Trunade's incredible. But like you said, there are Trunade's good for going for game. And it's not really good in any other situation. If you're just Trunading to set some things up, and then they just get to reestablish their board, it's not nearly as strong. But for the aspect of going for game and then also dancing around Starlight Road, Trunade is pretty fucking incredible. But yeah.
And the scary part is, it's like, you don't want to Solomon Trunade. When someone plays Giant Trunade, I would say it has a higher percentage of resolving, more so than Cold Wave and Heavy Storm. Because if the opponent can, they're stopping a Cold Wave. If the opponent can, they're stopping a Heavy Storm. But they're not stopping a Trunade because like they know that like damage can follow. Damage can follow. You Solemn that Trunade and they Heavy Storm you afterwards. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just. But anyway, Heavy Storm, not Heavy Storm, Giant Trunade, I think it deserves A. I think that's appropriate for it. It's not my cup of tea, but once again, Oscar got top 8 with it, so you know you guys can try it out.
Yeah. Let's on. I want to jump to a forgotten card that could have been talked about when we talked about E-Emergency, Bubble Man. Right? Bubble Man's not played in every list of DivaHero. It is played in some lists of DivaHero, and it is another target for E-Call. What are we doing with Bubble Man?
I mean, he's right where he belongs. He's in F tier. There's a reason why we forgot. F for forgotten about. And the sad part is, Jaden Yuki made Bubble Man seem so broken because Bubble Man actually has 2 effects. The first effect people are quite familiar with, where it's just like you can like special summon him if you don't have any cards in your hand, and that's what popularized like Bubble Beat in later formats and redo format, which is gaining traction these days. But his other effect is like if you top deck him when you have like no cards in your hand or field, you could draw 2 cards, which is like amazing. It's amazing. But like that's never going to come up. If it was something realistic, like when you have no back rows or like when you have nothing on the field.
That is such a protagonist card. Oh, when I have nothing, I have no hand, I have no field, and I top deck Bubble Man, I draw 2. Holy that is such a protagonist of the anime card, bro. Like,
yeah. If they made that effect like more practical so that like you can actually get 2 draws with him, then like he would be played. But where he is now, it's just like there's no exceeds in the format, so there's no reason to special summon him with his effect. Like his stat line is terrible. Like I would play Ocean before I play Bubble Man. And the thing about both Bubble Man and Ocean is like what makes them good is they're both heroes and waters.
Yeah.
and they can be searched by Stratos. But it's like the only good hero in water that ever came out in all of Yu-Gi-Oh's history is Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier is what
that's way.
DivaHero
Hold on,
needed.
we're not talking about him right now. We're not talking about him right now.
He's too far gone.
Bubble Man works with Upstart Goblin, right? Like if you have no cards in hand, just Upstart. Can you Upstart Bubble Man and he works?
See, I'd have to check the ruling because I don't know if it's like the last thing is like you gain 1,000 or if like Upstart resolves first. I don't exactly know how that works.
Imagine, right?
Like,
you go Plague Spreader Zombie, put Bubble Man back on top. You know what I mean? Upstart Goblin. Anyway, Bubble Man's an F. Moving on. Let's talk about Let's just finish out the traps and then we'll talk about some of these monsters. So, Return from a Different Dimension and Skill Drain. Skill Drain is not seen in every list of DivaHero. It is seen in some lists. And then Return from a Different Dimension, I think, now is seen in most of DivaHero list.
Yeah, so let's zero in on that word now. Because do you guys know who's
I know Cairo, we know. Cairo, we know, damn it. We know.
That's right. It was me. Okay? I'm saying the obvious, okay? It was me. And you know the crazy part is?
Oh, I know people said it sucked. People said it was win more. Yes. People said you can't use it. I know I know why you take so much pride in saying that you're the one that did it, because when you did it, just in case people are annoyed by it, I do want to have his back a little bit. When he was playing it, when it was first getting popular or whatever, there was a lot of hate around playing Return from a Different Dimension in DivaHero. There was a lot of people saying it's terrible, it's not worth it, it's bad, or that it's win more. And, yeah, there's a lot of argument. Whereas now, I think it is played a lot more, and it's a lot more respected in the list. But at the time, Cairo was fighting that battle. And I've been there. I've been in situation in other competitive games. I'm not even going to get into that conversation, but Cairo already knows what I'm talking about. Maybe we'll talk about it some other time. But I've been in situation in other competitive games where I was ahead of the meta. I knew what was good. And everybody was telling me I'm crazy. Mega Lucario, by the way.
I started laughing. I was gonna say
there was a point in time when people were like, Mega Lucario's not good, and Life Orb normal Lucario is better. This was real life, and I got in so many arguments with so many people all over the internet. I was like, you guys are fucking crazy. Mega Lucario is broken. Anyway, I was right. Moving on, I understand Cairo's fixation with reminding people. But Return from a Different Dimension, where are we tiering it here in this list?
It's S tier. It allows you to just win the game. Like it's S tier. Games can close out so fast just because you open up Return. And like obviously the deck naturally banishes cards with Malicious and Plague. Then you get additional banishes with cards like Miracle Fusion. And you get additional banishes just by playing the course of the game through Bottomless and Deep Prison when your monsters get removed. And even Dark Arm, right? When you summon Dark Arm banishes for cost. So it's like Return is just, it's that card. It's S. Yeah. Skill Drain. Now, Skill Drain, this card is not quite popular, but I do think it's a very good card, and I think it's good in the meta. It's good against Hero Frogs. It's good against Value Turbo. It's okay against Black Wings. It's not the best because Black Wings, they just have Icarus Attack, and that card just solves every problem that they have. But anyway, Skill Drain, it's good. And then I already talked about Skill Drain Defender, but not even just Skill Drain Defender. Skill Drain Defender, Skill Drain Absolute Zero, Skill Drain Stardust, Skill Drain Colossal Fighter. All these cards resolve under Skill Drain. So, and it's like, you know, you should cut down on your Caiuses when you're siding into Skill Drain or main decking Skill Drain. But even if like, and I've seen this happen before, if you summon your Caius up when you have Skill Drain and your opponent foolishly activates Bottomless, well, now your Caius effect's going to resolve because he's not on the field. So it's just like, yeah, Skill Drain is a really, really good card. And DivaHero doesn't really get hurt by Skill Drain because like they can just, I mean, you can still use your Necro, you can still use your Plague, you can still use your Malicious. Like there's just so many cards that you can still use with Skill Drain. So I think the card's really good. I think it should be at least sided in every iteration of DivaHero, if not mained. I think the card's really good.
Okay. Hey, so we've talked about the main bulk of DivaHero. Most of DivaHero you have here is tiered. Let's talk about some odd choices. like Debris Dragon and Dandy. I think this was played by Siltra's Ruin, right?
Actually, by DivaHero.
Oh,
so
DivaHero.
also
I got it wrong. My bad.
Yeah, he actually brought a lot of innovation to DivaHero. I mentioned earlier he was the first one to create the Armageddonite package, which was Armageddonite, Grepher, and Necrogardener. And he also was the first one to bring, to my knowledge, Dandy and Debris into the deck. And he would play Dandy, Debris, and Snowman Eater. And then it's like Debris can bring back Snowman Eater.
To be clear, I believe Snowman Eater was commonly played in DivaHero in general. I don't think he's played as much, but there was he was very common in an early list of DivaHero. Snowman Eater, which is a very common card. He has a big butt, and he kills.
Right. But yeah, it was Dave who thought of the idea of comboing Debris with Snowman Eater. And then like also he would go like Debris and in some cases get Diva. And then like you go banish Mali for Mali. And like he thought of like some really good innovations for the deck. And it's a shame because now, I mean, not a shame, but he's a family man now. And that's why you don't see him like online and playing as much as more because he has bigger priorities. Now, I've never played any of the variations of DivaHero with Debris. But I mean, like, having easy access to Black Rose, I think it's like quite underrated. But I don't know how practical Debris is because like then you got to play Iron Chain in your extra deck. Iron Chain's not the best card, and like I think in theory it sounds really good, but in practicality I don't know how good it is. He also played Alias, and then like he would go like Future Fusion, and he would send Alias and send Dandelion for Gaia. And then like then he could go like summon Debris and then like make a Stardust, right? So I like it had some cute plays, but like I don't know how practical these plays were because I never played that deck. And he was doing well. I think he topped 2 or 3 events with the deck. So where am I putting both Dandy and Debris? They're like C tier cards, honestly.
Okay.
I think they're C tier cards.
Dandelion is an incredible Yu-Gi-Oh card, but in DivaHero, and Snowman Eater.
And as for Snowman Eater is really good. I mean, it was played in the early iterations of DivaHero. Big butt, good against Black Wings, and it's a water. But Snowman Eater's problem is that he has 0 attack unless you have Spine Gilman, and then his attack becomes 400. So you can start attacking with Snowman Eater. But anyway, for the most part, like he's just gonna sit there. It's like him and Defender play similar roles. So I think like that's right. They're right next to each other. They're both in B tier.
Snowman Eater is a B tier. So Solemn Judgment, let's just throw that real quick where it goes. AS.
This is the thing about Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment, DivaHero's one of those decks where in the past, Solemn Judgment was a staple. But I think these days, the Solemn Judgment is not necessarily a staple just because Essen decks have been getting more refined. And if you pay half your life points, it's just easier for your opponent to kill you. But like if you have an established board like Stardust behind like Mirror Force and Solemn, it's really, really hard to get by that build on that board, right? So I mean, Solemn's a great card. I don't think it's necessarily S tier. I think A is fine.
A? B?
Yeah. No, not B. Definitely A. Definitely A.
We can do. I'll save this little fella last. Just that random little fella. But Gore's Tragodia.
Okay, Gore's S. I mean, I said DivaHero lacks defense and Gore's wins games by himself. The amount of games that you can just win off like Gore's Brain Control Caius is ridiculous. And it's so funny because as we're coming to the end of this list, DivaHero, despite all the trash talk that like I give it or that it receives from other people, there are a lot of S tier cards.
I was going to listen. I was going to wait until we were done, but I was going to say, yo, this deck looks crazy right now. Like this deck looks powerful. Well, why? Maybe. But I think the problem with DivaHero comes from consistency. Sometimes you draw some of your bricks, your Garnet. Like Spine Gilman, like you said, you can make plays with him, but he's still Spine Gilman, and you still don't want to draw him, and you still don't want to draw Malicious. So it has hands that can kind of brick, and it has awkward hands. In addition to that, it has some cards that really, like the Ops. The Ops stop you from playing the game. Like, you need to see your MST, your Heavy Storm, or whatever. I noticed, I don't think any list really played Dust Tornado. Maybe there's room for Dust Tornado and DivaHero in the future. I don't know. But the Ops really fuck on this deck hard.
Yeah, like hard. And then I will say just not to take away from DivaHero, but a lot of these cards that are in S tier are just S tier cards, not S tier DivaHero cards. Like when you look at like Dust Shoot, that's going to be S tier in every deck it's in. When you look at Heavy Storm Brain Control, that's going to be S tier in every deck that it's in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like those aren't DivaHero specific cards. But anyway, still there's more than 10 cards, so you can't say that they're all staples, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
and
on to the last two.
Is Trag up there with Gores, or is he a tier below?
No. Trag is not up there with Gores, only for the simple matter it can get hit by DDV. If Trag wasn't hit by DDV, I think it would be a really good card, because Trag allows you to do something that Gores doesn't, which is take monsters and synchro, because Trag can be any level that's in your graveyard. So he essentially can be like another Malicious, which is really, really, really useful, because you can make level 8s even easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
And imagine like if you drop a Trag, you pitch a Malicious, and then you take your opponent's Caius and you summon Diva. That's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
That's crazy. Then you know what I mean? Then you have a Caius plus 2 level 8 synchros on the board. So Trag, I think, is a really good card, but I think it just suffers from the fact that everyone and their mom is playing DDV. Mm-hmm. So he's like kind of like less good. And also you need cards in your hand, right? Like DivaHero, I do think for the most part, because it can play a control style, you're going to have like a big hand. But if you're playing the Sark version, you might have less cards in your hand while you're waiting for the Sark to resolve.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's good, but I can't give it A. I think B is appropriate.
B? All right, we have it at B. Yeah. And then Mind Control and Spirit Reaper. So now Spirit Reaper, I don't know how many lists play it. I know you played it in your list where you got second.
That's right.
I don't know if any other lists play it. You can let me know. Spirit Reaper is a classic card. And, I'll let you talk a little bit about Spirit Reaper. And then also, before that, where do you want to throw Mind Control?
Yeah, let's do Mind Control. Now, this is the thing about Mind Control. Mind Control, I will give it, and I know DivaHero players are going to hate me for saying this, but I'm giving it A tier. I'm not giving it S. And this is why I'm giving it A tier and not S. Because Mind Control by itself is an S tier card, because you can take face down monsters. But the problem with Mind Control is game 1, it's perfect. But games 2 and 3, if you're mind controlling, the way you convert the monster is by special summoning. You're either going to special summon your Diva, or you're going to play Miracle Fusion and get rid of the card. So you always have to convert the card that you take with Mind Control by special summoning. And games 2 and 3, what is your opponent going to side against you? False Edina, Vanity's Fiend, Oppression. And I said this in the DivaHero channel, and they all just said, you're crazy. And I said, okay, I don't know, right? I don't know. I've played Mind Control in more DivaHero lists than probably anybody. So I know how broken the card is, because it enables you to do so many things. But it's just like, at the end of the day, you have to think about your deck, not just for game 1, right? Even though we don't have the side deck list here, right? But you have to think about
but you still got, yeah. It's still, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think it's an S tier card, but at the same time, it's just like games 2 and 3, it's significantly less useful. And for that reason, I'm giving it A.
Okay.
And last but not least, we got our boy Reaper. Now, Reaper falls in and out of popularity. Like about a month and a half ago, people started playing Reaper again in like Value Turbo, I believe. And now I think they've gotten back to taking it out. Like, I think when it comes to Value Turbo, the Sizzle 41 is just tried and true. It's been proven to win the most amount of tournaments. But Reaper and DivaHero, I think, is actually like quite good, because it buys you turns. And like against Black Wings, it can be Bora and Armwing food, but most decks can't pierce. Against Hero Frogs, it can be food for Malicious Edge, because that pierces, right? So like Reaper isn't perfect. Reaper is not perfect. But the fact that it can draw you a few turns is really useful. But I found that like if you're going to play defensive cards, it's either Reaper or Snowman Eater or Defender, but not a combination of all of them, right? Now, Reaper is pretty cool because he has another effect where it's like you can start ripping your opponent's hand.
Oh, yeah, if you attack.
That's right. Yeah. And I would say if you resolve that effect of Reaper once or twice, you're probably just going to win. Like, because it's such a powerful effect. And we just got through talking about earlier about ripping your opponent's hand, right? So it's like back in 2023, I was playing Reaper, I was playing Dust Shoot, I was playing Mind Crush, and DDV. So I really was hitting my opponent's hand hard. So I do think the card is very good, but like it can also be a liability in attack or defense mode. Mm-hmm. So you just have to keep that in mind. I think played well, it still could be played in DivaHero list today, but I think B tier is appropriate. You know, also Reaper has gotten less useful because once again, back in 2023, people weren't main decking Deck Debbie.
Yeah.
There was someone who was, but it wasn't the population. All right.
So now he's targeted by a very broken card. So we have no D tier cards. You could argue we could argue we don't need an F tier, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. But this is the DivaHero tier list. These are for the individual cards in DivaHero for when you're constructing your list. Things to consider. Do I play Defender, Snowman Eater, or Spirit Reaper? Probably not all three. Do I play one of them? Do I play none of them? What is it? What am I thinking about? Is it worth going into the Destiny Hero version? Is it worth, or the D-Draw version? Is it worth playing E-Call? I don't know. So yeah, this is that. And then also, is it worth considering certain cards in the future, like Warrior Returning Alive? Mobius.
Enemy Controller.
I feel like there's another one, but I don't remember.
Yeah, there was other ones. At least 4. Yeah. If you don't remember what they are, just watch the video again.
Please, because I don't remember what they are. I forget. This video is long. But anyway, that is the DivaHero tier list. I'm very happy with it. I had a lot of fun recording it. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Tell us how you feel and then close us out.
This is how I feel, man. I feel as though for anyone who's looking to play DivaHero in the future, you have to have the patience of a saint. Because DivaHero is one of those decks where even though on paper it is an S tier deck, in practicality it's not. Because once again, look at the results. People don't top with the deck, and there's a reason for it. Consistently, people don't top with the deck consistently. It's a very hard deck to play, but it's fun because you get to utilize cards from all the best decks. If you like Monarchs, you're playing Triple Caius and Treeborn. If you like making synchros, DivaHero is one of the best deck at making synchros. If you like dropping Dark Arm, you could play Dark Arm. You know what I mean? It's just like DivaHero is one of those decks where it takes a little bit. If you like Quick Draw, you could play Dandy and Debris. DivaHero really does take a little bit from each and every deck in the format and combine it as one. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, right? So it's like you really need patience to play this deck well. It's a deck that takes a lot of patience and practice, but you know, yeah, just do what makes you happy.
And that's the tier list, boys and girls. Good night.